Hola, hola, ¿qué tal? Buenas noches, ¿cómo están? Eh, Muchas gracias. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo están a los asistentes? Bienvenidos. Mi nombre es Cristian Rodríguez, representante oficial de Destino Australia como asesor estudiantil. Esta noche me encuentro con Calvin Mason de Bond University, representante oficial a nivel LATAM, quien esta noche nos brindará una presentación sobre la universidad, cómo es su campus, cómo trabajan, los programas que llegan a ofrecer, además de los apoyos de becas parciales, académicas, convenios que tienen con diferentes instituciones. Nuevamente reiterarle su presencia esta tarde-noche en la ciudad, en el país de México, y a Calvin por su presencia en Australia ya en día martes. La presentación se llevará a cabo en alrededor de unos 30-40 minutos y al final de la misma tenemos una sesión de preguntas y respuestas. Obviamente pueden ir escribiendo sus respuestas en la sección del chat, por favor, al final de cada una de ellas, o bien les compartiremos nuestro contacto electrónico para que tengan más preguntas, ¿no? Adicionalmente, la presentación será dada en inglés. También si tienen alguna pregunta, sin ningún problema la pueden poner en el chat en español y con gusto los estaré apoyando para transmitírsela a Calvin. Entonces, en el momento, Calvin, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate your time, so please feel free to start whenever you want. People will be joining in through the seminar, so there's no worry about it. We also going to have the replay session, so the people that couldn't get online right now will can see it and to ask further questions about it.
Great. Brilliant. Thank you. Thanks, Christian. All I understood in that introduction, while Christian's doing that, everyone, as he said, I'm one of the international regional managers at Bond University, and I look after Latin America as well as Africa. But I'm very excited to say that we've got a colleague who starts in the beginning of May. His name is Lau, and Lau is from Argentina, speaks Spanish as well as Portuguese, and he's actually going to be looking after Latin America. So very excited for that. There it is. It'll only be a few seconds.
No worries in that.
Very unlucky. There we go. Okay. Very sorry for that. Now you all know what a fire alarm sounds like at Bond University. But anyway, so as I was saying, Lau begins with us beginning of May. He's going to be doing more trips over to Latin America, more trips over to Mexico. He'll be visiting Destino on a regular basis. He's going to be there in June at the upcoming fair. So very excited about that change. I think it's going to be very beneficial for those students who are in Latin America looking to come and study at Bond University. So this first slide here is very important, probably the most important slide in this whole presentation, because at Bond, our main objective is to have our students stand out from the crowd. And it's literally that from day one, the things that we get our students to do are things that are going to help those students to stand out from the rest of the graduates that are all graduating from other universities, not only from Australia, but also from the world. So we always constantly are asking, what is Bond University doing different to other universities so that when our students graduate, they are standing out from the crowd. And as I go through this presentation, hopefully you will see some of those things that we do that are different. So in this presentation, we'll go through the Bond difference, so how our students or how we help our students to stand out. We'll discuss our programs. We'll discuss what life is like as a Bondie. So when you're a Bond student or a graduate, we would call you a Bondie. And then we'll also look at the next steps. So what do you need to do in order to become a Bondie? Okay, so we are going to go for about 30 to 40 minutes in this presentation, and then we will allow time for a Q&A. So please send through any of those questions as they come to mind, and Christian will take notes of those. So where are we located? We are located on the Gold Coast. Now, to be very honest with you, before I moved to Australia, before I came to study at Bond, I didn't even know where the Gold Coast was. So I'm originally South African, and I chose to come and study at Bond. And 6 years later, I'm still here and now working here as well. So the Gold Coast is located on the southeast of Australia. So I don't know if, Christian, can you see my mouse if I move it around or not?
No, not actually.
No problem. So we are located 1 hour's drive south of Brisbane and a 2-hour flight north of Sydney. Okay, so for you guys, if you wanted to come visit us, you would probably go from LAX airports straight into Brisbane, and 1 hour's drive to Bond University from Brisbane Airport. That's one option. Otherwise, we also have an airport on the Gold Coast, which is 20 minutes from campus. So that's another option as well. Okay. I hope I have an image of the Gold Coast. I think that will be coming up. If not, I'll encourage you to have a look, or you'll see it in a video that I'll play at the end. So this is our campus. Bond University is a very special university because, especially this year, because this year we celebrate our 30th anniversary. So we are a very young university, one of the youngest universities on the Gold Coast, if not in Australia. But what makes things exciting is that we do things very differently. We're a private, not-for-profit university. So there's not many private universities in Australia. I know there's quite a lot in Latin America. There's a lot in America, and that's still developing in Australia. So we do things very differently to the other bigger universities. And we will talk about that as we go through. But some of the things that make us very different is the way that we structure our programs. So we have 3 semesters every year. So students can finish their degree in an accelerated mode. They can finish a degree quicker than you can at other universities. So we have 3 intakes. We have a January, a May, and September intake. So students can start their degree anytime in that year, and they can either finish their degree in 1 year or 2 years, depending on those students. So the video that I'm going to show you at the end is actually a friend of mine. I was in class with him, Rodrigo. He's from Chile, and he chose to do his MBA in 1 year. So then you've got other students who will choose to do it in 2 years so that they can stay longer and work on the Gold Coast or work in Australia. But in Rodrigo's case, he chose to do it in 1 year so that he could get back to work for the company that he was working for prior. So what else makes us different? Well, because we're only 30 years old, we are not in the global rankings like a lot of the other bigger universities are. Another thing that makes us different there is we are a lot smaller than the other institutions. So we only have 5,000 students on campus, and we don't want to get much bigger than that, because one of the things that makes us unique is the fact that we have smaller amounts of students in a class. So you will see on the bottom right of the slide over there, the number 10 to 1. What that means is we have 10 students to 1 academic. So you're sitting in a class where you can have a conversation with the academic, and the academic is going to know your name and remember your name. So we always say as well, studying at Bond, you're not just a number, you are a name. And that is literally the experience that our students have. They get to know their academics. Another one, if we look at the big, on the left-hand side, global top 20 universities. So the Times Higher Education ranks universities under 5,000 students every year. Last year, we were ranked 20th, and this year we were ranked 17th. So being a young university, that's in rankings and ratings with universities that are around 100 years old. Being 30 years old, we've got some impressive rankings. Another one, which I'm really passionate about, being a student here myself, is we are ranked as the #1 university in Australia for student experience. Okay, #1 university in Australia for student experience. Now, student experience isn't just saying it's about having fun. That's one of the aspects, okay? Student lifestyle, that's one of them. But the others are quality of academics, graduate outcomes, okay? Are our students getting jobs, and what are those salaries? We are ranked 5 stars for that. quality of facility and resources, okay? And the last one, if I can read it, was skills development, all right? So developing our skills for our students. And I'll show you how we do that shortly. So that is one that I'm passionate about. Being a Bondi myself, that was my experience, number one in Australia. And then the other thing as well is because of the environment that we have for our students, it allows our academics to help our students look for employment. My brother-in-law, he studied law at Bond University. He did his Juris Doctor, his JD. That was his experience. His academics said to him, Tom, give me your resume and let me see if I can get a job. Well, I've got a colleague, I've got a friend, let me pass your resume on to them. And he got a job through that. Rodrigo is another example. Through his work experience, he got through getting to know academics. We can talk about that at the end if we have more time. So looking at the bond difference again, looking at the quality indicators of learning and teaching, that is a government-funded survey, okay? QUILT, government-funded survey. I want you guys to go online and have a look at these rankings. Don't type in global rankings because, as I said to you, Bond's not going to be in that. We're only 30 years young, 30 years old, and we're only got 5,000 students. So we're not going to be in those global rankings because we're still young, okay? So go have a look at these rankings on QUILT. When you look at 2017, I've only got numbers for 2017 and last year. Looking at Student Experience Survey National Report, okay, that's the one on the left-hand side. You can look at the national average. So there's the green one, the green bar is the national average. The orange bar is the group of 8. Okay, the group of 8, the bigger sandstone, older universities. Look where Bond ranks in comparison to those institutions. Now, that isn't something that we've pulled or put together. That's something that the Australian government has put together. Okay, then the one on the right-hand side, again, rated number 1 in Australia by employers. So in 2018, the Employer Satisfaction Survey National Report, so that's also a government-funded survey, look where Bond ranks in comparison to the national average, so all the universities in Australia, and in comparison to the group of 8 average, all right? So there again, that just tells the picture that Bond is doing something different, okay, for our students. So moving along, as I said to you, that the experience in class is going to be different. This is a typical lecture, 500, that's going to be big. That's not going to be at every university, but I would say easily 150 to 500, no problem. My wife studied at another institution, and her experience was something like that. Not 500, but close to it. Now, some students might love that environment, okay? But some other students might want to be in a smaller environment where they know their peers in their class. They get to hear their stories. They get to hear where they came from, how they worked in different situations. And then you get to know the academic as well. A very, very different experience. So that's the experience which our students will have. A Bond lecture size will be from anywhere from 20 to 30. The average number is actually 25. So we'll have an average of 25 students in the lecture. Moving along, this shows our international mix. So as you can see, there's a really large breakdown over here, which breaks it down. So USA is actually our largest percentage. Then we have China. Then we have, I can't even read that. Canada, sorry, we have Canada, and then India and so forth. And there's a small Latin America there of 2% as well. So a very diverse international student mix, okay, which again adds to the experience of our students, being able to network with students from all around the world in those smaller classroom environments in a community where it's not a massive university. You get to meet students from all around the world. So what else do we do that's different? Well, the future of work is changing. So we make sure that every program of ours we are being innovative to change things so that our students can keep up with the times. Okay, so we want to have them ready for positions and roles that don't yet exist. So what are we doing? There's three key programs that we do in our university. One is our university core subjects. The other is our Beyond Bond. And the other program is our Transformer. Now, I'm not going to talk about the university core subjects or our Beyond Bond because I'm not too sure. I don't think there's any. Those programs are done in our undergraduate degrees, in our bachelor degrees. Okay, I'm assuming most of the students who will be listening to this webinar are going to be postgraduates. But if you want more information on those beyond bond programs and university course subjects, you'll have my details at the end of this, and I can go into more details. But for the sake of time, I'm going to go into the Transformer. So the Transformer is a program where we help students with developing their entrepreneurial skills. All right, so we help them foster ideas into reality through individual student ventures, maybe group projects or global competitions. All right, and we help them with providing access to coaches, to mentors, to industry contacts, as well as to academics. Now that program is actually offered to our students for free. Okay, so students can, every Wednesday, they can go to a workshop. It might be on networking skills. It might be on creating your resume. It might be on presentation skills. A few weeks ago, we had one on taking photos with your smartphone. So we do different workshops every Wednesday from 12 to 3. There's a free lunch, okay, free food for the students, and they can go along to these workshops, just developing skills outside of their normal program, outside of their normal lectures. Then we have students who might have a business idea. They can go along to this Transformer and they can get assistance with developing this program, okay, with developing this business and taking it from their idea to execution. All right, so we help them with developing those 3 key skills: interpersonal skills, technical skills, and execution. Now that Transformer program would cost a lot of money. Okay, it's developed and taught or managed by a very, very well-known businessman. He actually comes from my country, South Africa. His name is Daniel Abrahams. He has experience working all over the world, taking companies or listing companies on the stock exchange, starting a number of companies. So he's very well connected and very well experienced. And he brings all of that into this program by bringing his contacts so that our students can develop those skills. So we're going into some of the programs that we offer. Now, I know not many students from Mexico do come and do English, and that's because your English is at a really good level already. However, if it is not, we do offer general English as well as English for academic purposes. Now, those students are based on campus and they are university students. Okay, so they can use all the facilities, all of the support, the Career Development Center who helps you with developing work experience, helps you with developing your resume. All of those students can access that as well. Destino Australia is one of our preferred partners. So they do also get the discounted price for our general English, okay, if that is something you're interested in. However, I'm assuming, again, most of you online, your English is at a moderate level. Therefore, we're looking more towards EAP, English for academic purposes, or even potentially straight into your undergrad or postgrad. So there's EAP 1, 2, and 3. But let's have a look at some of the programs. So we do offer diplomas, okay? Now, from my understanding, diplomas in Mexico is something different to diplomas in Australia. But in a nutshell, diplomas pathway you from your current qualification, okay? So it might be coming out of high school, and then they pathway you or take you into your bachelor degree. You will do 8 subjects in a diploma, okay? At Bond University, you'll do 8 subjects. Those 8 subjects are university level subjects. It's not VET, it's not VET, it's university level subjects. So that diploma of business, those 8 subjects will go into your bachelor of business. All right. So a diploma is 8 months. Remember, we are accelerated at Bond, so our students finish quickly, ready for employment, graduate ready. So you'll go into your diploma and then you'll go into your bachelor degree and you'll still finish in 2 years. Okay. Some of our bachelor degrees are done in 3 years. But we find most, if not all of our students want to get that degree done quickly because they finish quicker and they're out of the workforce earning quicker as well. So most of them will go for the 2-year option. Now, looking at our undergraduate and postgraduates. So our undergraduates are our bachelor degrees, our postgraduates are our masters. Now, we have just about everything in those areas, business and commerce, all right? Actuarial science is something that is very unique that Bond does offer. We're the only university in Queensland that offers actuarial science. We also have accounting. We have Masters of Business Data Analytics. If those of you don't know what big data is or data analytics, research it. If you enjoy numbers, if you enjoy data, that is a degree for you. That is a degree of the future. Okay, communication and creative media, journalism, communication, that Master of Arts, health science and medicine, psychology, counseling and behavior management, law, criminology and criminal justice, humanities, languages and international studies, architecture and built environment. And then we've also got our research and our combined degrees. Okay, so those are the areas. Now, I want to zoom in on some of those programs. Architecture and built environments. You're based in our in our architecture building. Very, very unique program. What are the things that are unique about this? Our fabrication workshop and robotics lab with innovative technologies, 3D printing. Now, most universities will have equipment like that. But remember, you're in a program or at a university of 20, 30,000 students. At Bond, we have maybe a few hundred in this program. So there's no waiting in lines. There's no having to put down a deposit to use the equipment. You just walk in when you want. It's open 24 hours because you've got your access card. So it's a very different experience. Dedicated collaborative workspace during your studies. Sustainable development building. Okay, and architecture. Now, for the sake of time, I'm going to start speeding up. Business and commerce. We are in the top 2% of business schools in the world, which are accredited by AACSB and ICWIS. Okay, top 2%, guys. That's a university that's 30 years old. As you can tell, I'm extremely passionate about Bond because I've got family that have studied here and I've studied here. And this university has literally changed my life. So I'm extremely passionate, and that's the faculty which I studied in. Your first year, we say you're in a one-on-one mentor program. So you can choose. This isn't compulsory, but you can choose to be mentored by an academic. I took that option. I'm still friends with that academic today. In fact, last week we caught up on Burleigh Beachfront. We had a nice cold beer there to finish off the week and start Easter weekend. And so those are the relationships which you can develop at a smaller institution. We are the #1 job title held by Bond Business School alumni is director. Sorry, let me go back. The #1 job title held by business school alumni from Bond is director. So again, it shows you the quality of graduates that are leaving from our institution. They're not coming in as directors. They're coming in from other companies, other titles, but they're leaving and getting jobs at directors. That's because of the experiences, the introductions, the networks, the skills which we develop for our students and introduce them to. Only Queensland University offering actuarial science, which I've highlighted already. Communication, creative media. 24/7, again, access to live production studios, work on large-scale events. So our students get a lot of practical experience. That's something I haven't spoken about, but I'm sure you've been picking that up. Smaller classes, a lot of practical experience that we help our students get. And you'll hear from a video from Rodrigo. He'll speak about that. A degree specialization. So if those of you, anyone interested in computer games, digital media, design, there's programs there for you in that area. Health science and medicine. Okay, number of areas. We teach students through VR and AR. So again, practical, something different. You're graduating with something different on your resume. Humanities, languages, and global studies. Okay, that explains itself. Law. So we've got a number of law programs, our Master of Laws, Bachelor of Laws, a number of different opportunities that students can get, programs that students can get involved in. Psychology, social science, and criminology, okay, which we've spoken about. So looking at costs. Now, I've just taken sort of the average cost. Well, my colleague did this up for us, and we compared the costs to the group of 8 universities. If you're not aware of the group of 8, do a bit of research after this. But we've compared prices between us and group of 8. So looking at bond, your tuition for your bachelor degree, so that's the first column, is bond and group of eight, GOE, group of eight, and bond. So moving along to the tuition for the undergrad, you can see you're looking at about $19,000 per semester. Now that's Australian dollars, okay? Then in total, this is for an undergrad, so a bachelor degree. In total, you're looking at 114,000. If we go down, you can see that the total for a group of eight is 120. Living costs, you can see living on the Gold Coast, which we haven't even highlighted yet, or haven't even spoken about. It's one of the most affordable cities to live in, one of the fastest growing cities. So a lot of opportunities, but very affordable. You can see the living costs are around the same price, but because you're looking at per year and you're studying at a bachelor degree for 2 years instead of 3 years, you can see overall that it's cheaper. All right, so that gives you the total for the bachelor. Then we look at postgrads. It's the same situation. All right, tuition, 15,000 per year, 60,000 Australian dollars in total for your average master degree. Then your group of eights, 21, around 84,000 in total. There's your living costs as well, as you can see the total. So it gives you an idea of where we sit. Now for domestic students, because we're a private institution, we are the most expensive university for Australian students, okay, for Australian citizens. For international students, we are very affordable in comparison to the other Australian institutions, okay. Now, scholarships. I'm sure you've all been waiting to hear what scholarships we offer. So there's a number of scholarships we offer, and unfortunately, we don't have time to go through all of them. But they are all online, and afterwards, I'm going to provide a link to the Latin American scholarship, okay, which, if you go down, is right at the bottom. 10,000 Australian dollars fee scholarship paid in 2 installments, okay. So $10,000 off your total. That makes it a lot more affordable, guys. If you're seriously considering studying in Australia, it makes it very affordable. And I can promise you now, I've been to Mexico. The Gold Coast will certainly suit your living style. It is extremely friendly. There are a lot of opportunities, whether you're wanting to work part-time, full-time, afterwards on your extended visa, which we can talk about afterwards. There's plenty of opportunities. I'm an international myself, and I can vouch for that. So there are a number of scholarships. Those are all scholarships which you guys can consider. If you want, quickly take a photo of that screen so that you can go onto the link at the bottom, which tells you how to apply. So hopefully you've pulled out your phone and taken a photo of that slide. If not, I will provide a link for you to the Latin American scholarship, which can also take you back to all the other scholarships as well. Okay. So we've spoken a bit about life as a Bondi, how things are different. One of the other things which I'm passionate about is we have 100 clubs and societies. It's for free to join those clubs and societies. Excuse me. It is for free, but you do pay a semester fee every year, okay? That costs 100 Australian dollars. It's not even, it's about 97 Australian dollars. And that allows you to join the students' clubs and societies. Now, there's over 100. There's different sports clubs, okay? Every sport you can think of. There's the wine tasting club. There's the Latin American club. There's there's a number of dancing clubs. There's karate, jiu-jitsu, chocolate tasting, movie watching. There's philanthropy clubs, you name it, we've got those. And I always encourage students to get involved in those clubs and societies because you never know who you're going to meet or you never know what opportunities can open up from that. Now, that's a video which we'll come back to. That's my good friend Rodrigo, who's back in Chile, but we'll come back to him. So this is our sports center. This is an incredible sports center, which is available to all of our students for free. So you pay that SEM fee, 97 Australian dollars per semester, and that allows you to use the sports center for free whenever you like. So we've got a 50-meter swimming pool, and you can see that sports center on there in the bottom left. It's absolutely amazing. I promise you that. It's absolutely amazing. I enjoy physical activity, physical workouts, and working out, and yeah, huge fan of the gym. And interestingly, every Latin American student, or most Latin American students, I'll always see them in the gym. So it must be, we share a very similar passion, I think. Physical lifestyle. It's great having that balance. We've also got a Bond Elite Sport program. I'm not too sure if there's any elite athletes online at the moment or who might listen later. But if there is, take a photo of that screen and we can always come back to that. You can WhatsApp me, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. Accommodation. So Bond does have accommodation on campus. We also have accommodation off campus. So we are surrounded by plenty of accommodation options. Now, there's our prices, which you can see on that slide. So please, again, take a photo of that. Those are the different options for on-campus accommodation, okay, which is all walking distance to the campus. And again, off-campus, all of the accommodation off-campus is also walking distance as well. So there's plenty of options. I always encourage students to stay on campus for one semester because you're going to meet a number of other students, whether it is from your same countries, same continents, or from around the world. And your second semester, you'll end up probably renting a place closer to the beach and sharing a car to campus. That's always the way that I've found works well and quite popular. Lakeside bar and restaurants. So we have an amazing restaurant and bar which literally looks over our Bond Lake. And that's available for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The bar is open every day, obviously at certain times. We don't want you drinking alcohol before class, but from late afternoon, students can always have a sundowner looking over the lake, a beautiful, beautiful environment to just relax after class. So that's another image of our campus, which shows you a lot of the off-campus accommodation. So you can see the Bond Lake over there. That's the lake, this sort of in the middle of our university. The famous arch. So that is the largest arch and largest freestanding arch in the Southern Hemisphere, or was at least when it was built. You can see the towers on the left and right-hand side of the lake is the two accommodation towers, and accommodation then fans off of that. Our sports center with the swimming pool on the right-hand side. And then surrounding the campus, you can see all the different accommodation options. And by the way, where are we in comparison to the beach? We're about a 10 to 15, probably 10-minute drive from the beautiful Gold Coast beaches, which stretches for kilometers. And by the way, the weather on the Gold Coast, we literally have 300 days of sunshine. Literally 300 days of sunshine. If you look at the current weather at the moment, that will not look like it's the case because we've just had rain for days, which is, we know as living on the Gold Coast or as Gold Coasters, we are just not used to rain as much as what we've had. So yes, usually 300 days of sunshine, average temperature from 20 to 27 degrees Celsius. So it can get hot, but doesn't get too cold. Probably coldest will be around 9-10 degrees at night. Global experiences. So we have a number of relationships. You can see there we've got some relationships with institutions in Mexico. We're looking at a couple other institutions at the moment, as well as in Latin America. And Lau, as he begins having the contacts and the experience in Latin America, he'll be bringing on more partners, which is exciting. So keep an eye on that. So there's plenty of opportunities to link up with other institutions around the world. So how to apply? Now, I wouldn't really necessarily worry about that slide. I would focus more on getting in touch with Destino, as you already are, or even myself, to talk about the next step. How do we move forward? Starting your application, that would be key one. Getting your documents together, it's not complicated. Being a private university, the application process is very straightforward. So let's have a chat. You'll have my details. Let's have a chat about taking that next step. Okay, so there's another rating which I wanted to say, which I've spoke about, but didn't actually allude to. We've been the #1 university. Remember in the beginning, I said #1 university for student experience. We have been the #1 university for student experience for the past 13 years in a row. Okay, that's #1 in Australia for student experience and #1 in Queensland for overall experience. That's an impressive rating, guys. So if you are seriously considering Australia, please take that into mind, because I know that if you do, I will be seeing you at Bond, which is exciting. Open day on the 27th of July. Now I know you're saying, Kelvin, why are you showing us a slide? You're not going to fly all the way here just for open day, but we have a virtual open day as well. So keep an eye out on that date. Put that on your calendar, 27th of July, and we're going to have a virtual open day where you'll be able to be a part of our open day from your couch or office at home. More information will be online on our Facebook page when it comes closer to that time. So thank you very much, everybody. That's the end of my presentation. I've gone for 32 minutes. Before I actually finish, I want to show you this video of Rodrigo, and then we'll be taking some questions. Okay, so I'm going to hit play, and then we'll go back to Q&A. And after the video, I'll put up some links for you as well. So grab your phones again, take a quick photo of my details, but I will provide that to you.
Well, when you're looking for an MBA, the first thing is you start to look at the academic experience. And the academic experience and quality, mainly if you are from South America or from the Americas, you can really find really nice places to study in the United States, which you can go to one of the top 10 universities in the world. But when you are looking for the overall experience and you are looking for some academic quality, but also in my case, I was looking for the experience to live in a country where I can get the best out of the culture, the diversity, the weather. I found out that Bond and living here in the Gold Coast in Australia has been the best decision I have ever made with my family. So actually we're really proud. My family don't want to go back to Chile right now. The weather is perfect. The facilities is incredible. You have a personalized environment where the educators are really looking forward to meet you and help you, even in your task or your personal stuff. I start my day at 4:30 in the morning. I start doing 2 hours, 3 hours of training. After that, I finished training. I had some coffee with my friends of the club. When I go to my subjects that I like the most, I have to go to the subjects that are related with entrepreneurial skills, innovation, and commercial skills. Specifically was the Bond Business Accelerator. I believe this is a different kind of subject that you are not going to find easily in other kind of universities. When you are talking about building a startup, a brand new company, having the customer discovery, building business models with a new kind of methodology, but actually you have to apply it and deliver a real business. And now I feel like I have the self-confidence to go alone myself and start building my own companies. I believe it can't get any better. Yeah, I'm actually going to miss it. Well, I'm going back to Chile. I don't know how I'm going to fit my life again, rearrange it, but I actually can say that you can be more happy than living here. If you want the best overall experience, I will definitely say that Bond is the best choice. Something you're not going to get anywhere else in the world.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Christian, should I hand back over to you?
Yes, thank you so much, Calvin. It was quite an interesting presentation. Right now, we're going to have the Q&A session, so the students can write any questions they may have. Muchas gracias nuevamente a todos los presentes. A continuación vamos a ir a la sección de preguntas y respuestas a la presentación de Calvin. Por favor, hagan todas las preguntas que tengan interés en temas de becas, en temas de procesos, tal vez los documentos que necesitan presentar, programas específicos que estén en busca de. Entonces todo esto para que lo podamos resolver a manera, o también les vamos a compartir nuestros correos electrónicos, tanto de Calvin y el mío por parte de Destino Australia, para poder resolver dudas más concretas, ver temas de sus procesos y obviamente el apoyarlos, ¿no? Calvin, it says that if Bond University has any special agreements with any institutions in Mexico, such as Banco de Mexico, that offers international support for studying postgraduates? Do you have any agreement with FIDER or FUNED?
So we don't. So we have an agreement with Ibero. We're currently
Okay.
looking at one with RTSM as well, Tech Monterrey.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, those agreements are not necessarily exchanged at this stage. So they are study abroad agreements. So if students are wanting to, or students who are studying at those institutions are wanting to study abroad, then that would be the option that they could go through. However, in saying that, because we don't have relationships with particular universities, study abroad is still an option. But unfortunately, for those who maybe are hoping that they could go on the exchange agreement where they don't have to pay a fee, they will need to pay a fee for study abroad.
Ok. Daniel, respondiendo a tu pregunta, tienen convenios directamente con un par de universidades en México, específicamente con la Universidad Iberoamericana y con el TEC de Monterrey, pero son temas más de intercambio en relación a los programas de Calvin. This agreement with Ibero and ITSM would be for undergraduate programs and also for postgraduate, or only
That's
for...
correct, Christian. For undergrad and postgrad.
Ok. Este agreement que tienen vigente con este par de universidades sería para nivel licenciatura o posgrados. Y bueno, también hay que hacer mención que sí tú puedes aplicar a un crédito educativo por parte del Banco de México o bien de Nacional Monte de Piedad, que lo ofrece vía FUNED, y no importa que no tenga convenio directo con las universidades. Tú puedes aplicar a este crédito educativo sin problema, siempre y cuando el programa educativo al que estés aplicando esté dentro de un top 100 o 200, según sea el requerimiento por parte de los financiamientos. Además, también te recomendamos revisar el link que ahorita comparte Calvin sobre International Scholarships, y para que veas cuál es la mejor opción a las cuales te puedes aplicar o puedes considerar, ¿no? Además, también hacer mención que la convocatoria de CONACYT regional está abierta, entonces es importante que la revises y podamos ver más detalles sobre este proceso, ¿no? Calvin, Jemima,
Yes.
what is his question? It's, is it true we have to have around 15,000 Australian dollars in order to get that visa? Well,
No. To get a student visa,
yeah, yeah, I should
it,
say.
in my understanding, Christian, and Ernesto, the director of the company, would probably be able to answer this better than what I could. So I might leave this either for me, or maybe you to come back to that, student Christian. From my understanding, that is not necessary. You will need to be able to pay your first semester up front, and you will need to prove that you will be able to fund yourself while you are studying in Australia, whether that's funds in your bank accounts or you've got another part-time job that you're coming to. For immigration purposes, you will need to prove that you can fund your studies.
Yes. Gemima, básicamente lo que necesitas tener de un inicio es el poder cubrir el primer fee correspondiente al primer semestre del que quieras iniciar, y cubrir tu seguro de gastos médicos por la duración total del curso. Es decir, normalmente si llegas a tener un monto alrededor, dependiendo de la universidad, como de 15 a 20 mil dólares, pero corresponde para pagar el fee de inscripción de la universidad, no tanto así como para que sea un pago anticipado de la visa. La visa de estudiante tiene un costo de 575 dólares australianos. Y además, como bien mencionó Calvin, si necesitas tener, tal vez no en la totalidad, el respaldo económico del total del curso, pero sí que tengas alrededor de un 60-70% y dentro de tu cuenta, si en algún momento dado te lo llegan a pedir. Es importante sí tenerlo. Entonces es contar con respaldo, a lo mejor ahorros propios, o bien, como lo mencioné anteriormente, un crédito educativo, o el mostrar que tienes una beca ABC académica de Bond o de CONACYT. We also have, do you know what is the the minimum requisites for the Latin America scholarship?
Yeah, sure. So, and I can see Ernesto is actually listening. So, how are you, Ernesto? Good to see that you're a part of it, man. Appreciate you taking the time to log in. That's awesome. Yeah, really appreciate that. Very cool. I know you're busy. So Ernesto has actually answered and confirmed, I think, almost confirmed what I've said. I've just quickly tried to translate what he said there. So yes, so with the scholarship, guys, the Latin American scholarship, it's very straightforward to apply for that. And if I can be honest with you guys, we don't get enough applications for that Latin American scholarship. We get a lot of Latin American scholarship applications, but not enough time for that scholarship. It is new. It only came out last semester. This is the second semester that we have it available, but it's very straightforward. So first you will apply to study at Bond University. Once you have your letter of offer, once you've received your letter of offer, so your letter of offer will be sent to Destino, then it will be sent on to you. Once you receive that letter of offer, then you can put in your application for your scholarship. Okay? Now, you don't have to have any academic requirements. I mean, yes, it's going to strengthen your application if you have in your previous academic or previous qualification, if you have, got a really strong grade, that's going to strengthen your application. All right, but don't worry about that. If your grade isn't strong, still put in an application, because you might be the only applicant who's applied for that scholarship that semester, and then that's going to help you again. Okay, so definitely apply. So academics is one of them. The other thing we're looking for is students who are exemplary in leadership positions, not necessarily in managers or directorship position. No, students who are showing leadership in areas like volunteering, or maybe in their high school, or maybe in their company, they're working on different projects. So we're looking for a student with a whole package who wants to get engaged in the university, who wants to bring over their experiences and share their experiences. So that's what we're looking for. Again, so going back, you receive your letter of offer, then you put in your application for the scholarship. All the information is on the link, which I've provided in the chat box. Once you've applied for your application, in that application, we'll ask for a statement. All right, that statement is for you to say why you are deserving of your scholarship. We'll ask for a resume with that statement. Okay, so that's all we will be asking for in that application.
Great. Actually, the resume is one briefly requirement for the application process, right? So they only need to present the statement of, basically a statement of purpose.
Great. Thank you. That's correct.
Well, she's asking about her family because she's married with 2 kids. And do you have any specific help to their family members?
We don't, as an institution, we don't, but we can definitely advise. So Rodrigo, he reached out to us. He brought over his wife and 2 kids. They were in preschool, so it was easy for them to get into school. But we don't help with that process. We can advise and say, this is a good school. This is, reach out to this person. I can provide contacts, no problem. But we won't provide advice in that situation, because it's separate to that student coming to study here. But it is possible, and what a great way for the family to have an opportunity overseas as well. Awesome.
Great. Also, there was another question about the application process. How long does it take when a student applies and need to wait for the letter of offer? Normally, the admissions teams, how long does it take to get an offer?
Great. So as long as your application has all the documents there, all the supporting documents, and we don't need to keep asking for more information, then you're looking at 5 to maximum 10 working days. 5 to maximum 10. Okay. So we always just say to students, get your application in as soon as possible. Obviously, we're too late for the May semester, so September would be the next option. Scholarship applications are currently open, but I'm sorry that I actually can't even remember what the dates for those applications. So applications close on the 24th of May for the September semester. Okay. Right. So if you're wanting to study in September this year at Bond, you need to get your scholarship application in by the 24th of May. So that's another month. Okay, so to those students who want to study in September, start the process as quick as you can. But that would be the dates, and that's the timeline usually. For scholarships, Christian, students would find out closer to around June, July if they were successful for the scholarship.
Okay. Yeah, it's like maybe 1 month and a half usually to start their course, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, so they can actually start with their visa application process.
Exactly.
Also, what's your most popular intake? Like you said, you have 3 intakes, right? February, July, and September. What is the most popular intake you guys have? Like the one you get more students to start your courses?
Yep. Our most popular is definitely January. I would say it varies, to be honest, but ours is mainly January because students like to start at the beginning of the year, and then they know that they're going to finish, in 2 years' time, around the same time. So generally, it's mainly January. But in saying that, we still get hundreds of students starting either in May or September as well. So it just depends. If there's students who are seriously considering to study in Australia, and they're in a position to start that process, why wait? I would start, apply for the September semester. The sooner you start, the sooner you're going to finish, the sooner you'll be able to do your work experience if you're wanting to stay in Australia to do that. Obviously you have to apply for that, but, the sooner you start, the sooner you'll finish and start that experience, I guess.
Yeah, great. Because here in Mexico, we usually end our undergraduate courses by July, so September is then quite attractive intake to start here, because that's what I was asking for.
Great.
Also, getting back to the Latin American scholarship, do we need to present an application by a request scholarship by separate?
Yes.
Or included in our application process?
No. So in your application process, there will be an option to choose that you are applying for a scholarship, but it is separate. So once you've got your letter of offer, if you go onto the link, which I've put in the chat box, otherwise, Christian, I'll send you the PDF as well. Mm-hmm. You'll go into that link, and it will give you another link for the Latin American postgraduate scholarship application. So it literally says on the website, I'll read it: once an offer has been received, students must complete and it's hyperlinked, the Latin American postgraduate scholarship application form. The form must be completed in full and returned gives you an email address by the relevant application closing date. Okay, so that would be the process.
Okay, great. Daniel has another question. It's like, how hard is to get a working visa after I'm done with my master's?
To be honest, I've never heard of a student who's been turned down for applying for that working visa. So that's the post-study working visa. And thank you for that question, because that reminds me. So as I told you in my presentation, Bond has accelerated degrees. So we finish our degree in 1 year in an accelerated mode. If you want to apply for the post-study working visa, you have to apply for the professional program. Okay, so let's use MBA as an example. You've got your Masters of Business Administration. In Rodrigo's case, he did the standard MBA. Okay, I've got another Mexican student which recently did the bachelor, sorry. Let's talk about masters. So you have the Masters of Business Administration. If that student wants to apply for the post-study working visa, they will apply for the professional version, which is 1 year and 4 months of coursework and an additional 20 weeks of work integrated learning. Okay, work integrated learning is made up of work experience, internships, volunteering, different activities that we help the students, different opportunities that we help the students engage in, that takes that degree to 98 weeks which meets the minimum requirements for that post-study working visa. So if you're a student who wants to apply for that post-study working visa, you need to apply for the master's program of X with professional in brackets next to it.
Yes, thank you, Kelvin. Daniel, básicamente tienes que cubrir un curso de maestría o de posgrado que dure 2 años. Esto es importante mencionarlo porque no puedes mezclar 2 cursos en uno para cumplir ese tiempo. Entonces tienes que tomar ¿cómo se llama? Un programa específico que tenga la duración de 2 años o más para poder ser calificable o aplicable a este tipo de visa. Y como bien mencionaba Calvin, la verdad es que es fácil de obtenerla, obviamente si aplicas en tiempo y forma, y además de cubrir con todos los requerimientos. Además, también quiero hacer mención que este proceso de Post-Study Working Visa ya es más responsabilidad del candidato de llevarlo a cabo. Tal vez podrán obtener asesoría o información otorgada por la universidad, pero el aplicar como tal, el llevar a cabo el proceso en tiempo y forma, es responsabilidad total del candidato. I don't know if you... ¿Alguien más tiene alguna otra pregunta a los asistentes? Si no, ya saben, les compartimos nuestro correo electrónico, tanto Christian Destino Australia, Ernesto at destinoaustralia.com.mx, and Calvin Mason, we have it right here, here we are, C Mason with double S at bond.edu.au. Please feel free to contact Calvin or me whenever you have any specific doubt about specific questions, programs you are interested in to start with your application process. We'll be gladly to help you out. Thank you so much, Calvin, for your presentation, for being here today with us, for taking your time. To the assistants of the webinars, thank you so much for your time. Please feel free to contact us anytime you want. I think we don't have any further questions, Calvin.
Great.
It was a pleasure seeing you today.
Thanks, Christian.
No, thank you. Muchas gracias a los asistentes nuevamente y gracias por su interés. Por favor, si tienen alguna pregunta a futuro, sabemos que de repente se les olvida o se acuerdan un poco tarde, nos pueden contactar en cualquier momento vía a través de nuestro correo electrónico. Podemos platicar un poquito sobre sus casos más específicos, en el caso de Daniel, en el caso de Jemima, que quiere o tiene la intención de irse con su familia, ver cómo podemos hacer para apoyarte en el proceso, ofrecerte la información más completa que pueda haber para que vayas preparada y sepas cómo aplicar, cómo moverte, qué opciones hay para las escuelas de tus hijos, opciones de becas y todo lo que puede haber, ¿no? A detalle. Muchas gracias. Well, I think that is all for today, Calvin. Once again, thank you so much for being here today. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much, guys, for being here with us. This is the end of our seminar. Also, I will be sharing you the PDF with the information Calvin mentioned previously. I will send you via email to you, and we'll hope to see you all once again.
Great. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Christian. Thanks, Destino. Ernesto. See you soon.
See you soon, Calvin. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.